So Faizal,
Why do you hate me?
wow, you're just gonna lead off with that.
Yeah.
We have met on a couple of occasions, but like extremely randomly here in New York. So like people know that you're from Boston. People know that I'm from the Bay Area. We met up, it was cool. Second time, same thing. Second time was funnier because I was literally like here in this past January looking for an apartment.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I see this like Fuji guy like photographing in China. So I'm like, what the heck? Like there's another
Both
Fuji guy
times
here.
I was making a POV video. So like.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
That's funny. There was a video that I made. And I don't know if you were made privy to this video. But
I didn't know about it until he told me.
Interesting. So I think the video was called 3 Tips for Street Photography or something like that. So I think like the nutshell version is like, I like being up close.
Right.
I don't prefer farther shots and stuff like that. The internet is, as you know, crazy place. People kind of like read into things like way too much. And I had your video playing in the background of my talking
Did you
head.
know it was playing?
No, I knew it was playing.
Oh, okay.
So that was during the time where like I wanted to make my background more exciting. So I would always play like a long form video. And that car is gonna sound so good in post. I love it. Someone commented saying like, was this a jab at Faizal? Because your video was in the back. And the style, the preferences that I was saying was contrast to yours. So like other videos that I've had videos playing was like either like a Hot Ones interview, or like someone else's like gaming tutorial, because those videos are like typically like at least 30 minutes. Your video was
So it
probably,
was a jab.
no, it was not a jab.
Oh.
It was definitely not a jab. And I started getting Instagram DMs saying like, yo, was that a jab at Faizal? Was that a jab at
You got
Faizal?
Instagram DMs.
Yeah, I got
People
DMs
were
from it. And I was
really-
like, what the heck? For you, right? Are you kind of aware that like street photographers, like in different like, I guess like preferences or styles, like they're kind of strong about their opinion?
Oh, for sure. And I respect that. I mean, there's nothing like negative about being passionate about what you do, you know, and like having your own set of rules and philosophy to what you do. Like that's part of art. That's you created what photography is for yourself.
Because it's so broad.
Right.
Like there's no rules.
There is no rules, but you can make rules for yourself.
Right.
And that's fine.
And that's how you develop your style.
People should respect that you made rules for yourself, but because you made rules for yourself doesn't mean I have to follow those rules for you to, you know, respect my philosophies, you know.
So for kind of like the people who are watching, because maybe some people who like are on my channel don't know who you are and vice versa. Hey Faizal, like I've seen that like you're a street photographer. What is street photography? How would you describe it? On like the most surface level detail. Definitely not a loaded question.
Yes, what is street photography? I think like I made this definition for one of my past videos. It's candid photography of the human presence.
Does it have to be outside?
No, I don't think so. It doesn't have to be outside. It can be anywhere. And it doesn't have to be on the street. And it doesn't have to be in the city. I know it's one of your topics. It's like photographing people on the street, saying you're a street photographer for TikTok. I don't know. If that, under my definition that I just said, I guess that would qualify because it is the human presence, but it's not really candid, so I don't know if you could say that would fit. But yeah, what do you think? The human presence
In a candid.
In a candid.
In a candid setting. I would 95% agree.
Okay. I do find myself a lot of the times viewing like a reflection shot of a scene visually being more interesting than the scene itself. I think the reflections, they kind of stem from me trying to find ways to incorporate the environment into my images, because I technically see scenes and I'm interested in scenes versus in like people. Reflections, windows, visually they create a lot of shapes, a lot of texture and abstraction. It's an easy way to add abstraction to a scene. I think that's why I find it fascinating, is because I don't know what it is. To me, they're just shapes, right? So I see them like in my photos as like, I don't know, squiggles or some kind of shape to work with. For all I know, it could be, say, like I don't know, feet. What the hell is in it? Damn. You never know what you can get out of a reflection until you like work with one. So I'll see something, it'll like catch my eye. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I'll go up to it and like, you play around with it and you can create a lot of interesting compositions out of them. That's why I shoot them.
So people who know us,
Yep.
they know that our styles are very different. But how would you describe your style to, I guess, anybody?
It's definitely more on the fine art side of things. Like you wouldn't call what I do as much like journalist or documentary, like what you do. Because I shoot more for aesthetic than to tell some story from the photo itself. If we're talking like greats that could link to what I do, Ernest Haas, Saul Leiter, probably are two names I get the most.
Oh yeah, I've seen you make.
Those are two of my big inspirations. So
Still current inspirations.
Yeah, still current. Like I'll always pull up their books and check them out.
My style, I would like, if anybody were to ask me, yeah, because it is really hard to kind of put into words of like the essence that makes our art, our art. I wouldn't necessarily say gritty. I would say very energetic, high RPM.
What do you mean by that? You told me that the other day.
RPM.
Yeah.
So I always love to draw parallels to like my art. Like I'm a very like analogy dude.
Okay.
And music is a huge thing for like my process. Like absolutely like almost like this close to each other. And if I were to see like my body of work in the past month, it's always a lot of people. Basketball, for example, like the Westworld project, and the RPM feeling. If I were to like put all the photos like on a wall next to each other, you would feel like there's just so much going on. Like you're like full throttle, you hear like an engine roaring. Like that's kind of like how I would describe my style currently. And I'm trying to peel back from it because I'm starting to feel the heat of the RPM. Like I'm starting to feel like it's redlining. Like this is
how so? Like
so when I was kind of like assembling like the sequencing of the Westworld basketball project, like it was the beginning of that video is like there's just so much going on. Like there's a coach screaming with like a player doing something in the back, and it wasn't showing that much layering in the beginning. It was just showing like one flat scene and a bunch of people doing something, almost like The Last Supper, but like people are fighting. But when I see that same type of energy, photo after photo after photo, I'm like, ooh, oh geez, like maybe I need to like calm it down a little bit. And what seems calmer to me is the single subject, shallow depth of field type thing where like they're making a more like softer facial expression or their whole demeanor is softer. So I'm starting to like really enjoy that balance, but even then, I'm still close. Like this would be perfect. Like my zone is like 4 feet and closer. I'm trying to like push back now and try to do like more like contextual shots.
And this is because why?
Because of the high RPM feel.
And you don't like that feeling?
Yeah, it's like if you were to listen to a song and like there's an instrument that's like just like repeating like so much, like I hate that.
Okay.
And
so you found yourself photographing in a similar way, and you just didn't like that, and you wanted to switch it up.
Yeah. So if I were to select a street photography great, like one of those like Magnum guys, like the one who is like most similar to my style, or my style is more similar to him, is Bruce Gilden. And
really?
Bruce Gilden, like he's very up close and personal to people.
It's interesting that you say that because I don't see your work as being like his, like in that aggressive sense.
Oh, really?
Maybe
okay.
Because I just attribute like aggressiveness to his style so much, and I don't see that aggressiveness in your style.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, he's an inspiration, so maybe even though he's my inspiration, my style doesn't like necessarily like kind of like tail that.
Bruce Lee said, "Be like I ain't even thinking." Like water, it just goes. Don't even think about it. Hip hop's back. Escalado over 808, some fatal over samples. I go yayo, crack music like the Yates on plugged in. Jumper cables trap, bumping like prenatal 70s. I play with Play-Doh. All I see a bunch of Fredos. Godfather, they on payroll, they on go. When I say
so, I'd say that I used to just go to really like crowded, high energy places to just photograph a lot of motion and to find people that stand out in a crowd. But I think like nowadays that's changed a lot because I want to like string together photos that either create like a consistent theme of an actual person or the like neighborhood. And if I can't find that in a crowded area, then I actually find myself like just moving away from that, which was so different from a style that I had even a year ago. Let's make a street video. How many frames is too many frames to photograph a blue garbage bag? I actually lived in one, almost lived in one of these buildings. Oh, this one, yeah. When I was looking for an apartment, 54 Henry. I almost.
The one you were going to when I ran into you?
Yeah, that was. I ran into you right after I saw this apartment. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I didn't even go to the viewing because they were constructing this building right across the street, and it was just like constant jackhammering and construction noises, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go to this viewing. So I just like left, and then that's where I ran into you. People kind of make their own schools of thought of like what this art form should be. At least this is what I observed. Yeah. They make their own school of thought, and then like they inadvertently or maybe like consciously select their champion of their schools. But I have Saul Leiter. This and what he's done like is beautiful. Say someone like me would be like, but like Bruce Gilden, like he's actually like getting humanity because he's getting up close, he's not hiding. And like then it becomes this like turf war. No, this is what street is. No, this is what street is. And to me, I find it hilarious because it's like it comes off like my dad can beat up your dad. It's like,
Battle of the
first of all,
grandpas.
who asked? And like second of all, like there's no rules. In like all the genres of photography, I feel like street is the second most chaotic. I would say like fashion photographers are like even worse in that context of like they kind of debate on like what it should be. But it's interesting how your style is what it is, my style is what it is. We don't hate each other, but I think there is like probably like a fraction of our audience that hates the other audience.
It's like a passive aggressive disagreement. Like what I went back to what I said, like I kind of just respect anyone who's passionate about what they do and their philosophy, you know? Like I'm inspired by people who shoot very differently than I do. You know, I can take inspiration from it. Like say if you're into Bruce Gilden, like avoid all the work of like anyone else. Like, like I'm not touching a Saul Leiter book.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, like, that'll ruin me. Mm-hmm.
And so part of that involves like putting down other styles because you're so focused on the style you're into. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. It is funny seeing the two fight each other because I don't think anyone ever talks about this.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
You see it all the time, but like no one. That's why I say it's like sort of like passive aggressive, like.
Or just mad aggressive. Or straight up aggressive.
Mad aggressive.
But beef is squashed. This fake beef.
You like me now? Thank you.
Yeah, I finally like this guy. Yeah, the internet can finally like know that like, hey, these guys can be friends. All right, guys, if you want to follow him, where can they find you?
OnlyFans. No,
Whoa!
YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Twitter.
Wow, you're all over the place.
TikTok. No, I don't have a TikTok. I actually do have a TikTok, but I haven't posted on it.
Have you made it? Oh, you haven't made a TikTok video? All right, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.